Listen, I understand you may not be 20 watching this, you may not be 30 watching this, you may be older, you may be younger, and if you are older, this is something I think you should share with your children, but also I believe it's something that will directly correlate to you. This is an everybody problem, and this everybody problem has been something I wish the internet would stop raving about. I wish you would stop hearing in the way that it's been given to you, because usually in the way that it's been given to you has been in a way to get you to purchase something. So it's easier to make somebody believe in themselves if there's a funnel to where that attention and that belief and that emotion will go. So today I want to talk about something that I've been seeing a lot of people struggle with, and I've been getting often when people are asking me questions. Kelly, how do I do this better? How do I fix this? How do I do this? So I really want us to get into this. I have an entire presentation for you because this is one of those videos that I believe is going to be one that if you don't pay attention to, it's going to be a bit detrimental. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen because I believe that this needs to be appropriately titled. If this doesn't make you successful, well, if this doesn't make you more successful, then block me. And you will see this nice little rendering of me, or what should be a rendering of me. I put it through AI. I don't like to put my face through AI, though I'm sure it's probably familiar being a public figure and all. So this is something that I have seen. Listen, to give you a little bit of credibility, I have been in this world for several years. I've witnessed millions of people be able, when I say world, I mean online financial space, for several years. I've witnessed millions of people, their pitfalls, what makes them successful, how it works. I have personal friends that are billionaires or centimillionaires. They make hundreds of millions of dollars. A lot of friends that are decamillionaires. They make tens of millions, and friends that have made millions, as well as friends that have made six figures and tens of thousands, and maybe some at all. I do think it's important to have a nice balance, and we will get into that in this. But yes, I have been able to see that. By the age of 19, I became one of the youngest female millionaires on this planet, and that was pretty awesome. Since then, I've made several millions more. You can start to guess. I don't like to say direct numbers or explicit numbers because it's just not your business. But in this case, I am trying to make it your business because I genuinely care about your success, and I am on a mission to help financial education be seen as something that's good. So this is one of those videos that you are absolutely going to want to watch. If this does not give you absolute value to the point of where you're like, I can't click off of this, this is too good, well, then I have failed, and that is where you should block me. So again, if this doesn't make you more successful, you need to block me, because I've seen recently there has been a lot of conversation surrounding buying back your time. I have several conversations with people that are starting to sound like broken records. I'm like, wait a second. I thought I already had this conversation, and I realized I didn't have this conversation. What actually happened is I had a conversation instead with a friend who repeated the same thing. You're going to have to forgive me here. My team's going to fight me if I don't record this. So anyways, yes, I've had a lot of people that are sounding the exact same. So what I've realized, and I'm going to tell you this, is everyone is in this giant echo chamber. And if you haven't already known by now, social media is no longer social media. It is now interest media. You will be shown exactly what you show interest in. So if somebody is telling you they don't know why Twitter keeps showing them those specific videos, they are engaging in those specific videos. Years ago, social media went out the window. Nowadays, even if you have watched everything or looked at everything that your followers have shown you, or the people you're following or your friends, it doesn't matter. You're going to be shown more because it's meant to keep you there. So speaking of keeping you there, I want to talk to you about the reality of commitment, okay? Because even in this video alone, people are going to click off. In a couple slides, we'll talk about what the average attention span looks like and how that affects you. But right now, I want to talk to you about commitment, because this is where so many people mess up, okay? How many of you, if you could think off the top of your head right now, you started a New Year's resolution on January 1st, I'd assume. Are you still sticking to that goal? I want you to think about that for a second. Now, listen, if you are not sticking to that goal, that's normal. 75% of the world does not. It is currently March 8th at the time I'm recording this. And so that would put us 3 months and 7 days past January 1st. 75% of individuals lose their commitment to their New Year's resolution after 30 days. And of that, only 8% of the 100% of individuals that tried are going to actually complete them by either seeing the goal through the whole entire year or by actually achieving that goal. And that is disturbing. But I say that because when it comes to paying attention to things like this, I want you to be knowledgeable. There's something that I always say where I'm like, I want you to be vigilant, okay? I want you to be vigilant because vigilance is seriousness towards whatever it is that's in front of you. So that is the reality of commitment. I am going to post this video. You are going to watch this video. Some of you may just be listening to this video, okay? And guess what? In a week, you'll forget everything about it. In a week, everything that I'm presenting to you today will leave your mind. You just won't even care. You'll revert back to old ways. And it's going to be hard to break these habits. But what I urge you to do is if you genuinely care about your future and your success, you will aim to be a person that actively sees this through. So anyways, here's what I was just talking about when I said to you, everyone is listening, but nobody's thinking, okay? Everyone is in this giant echo chamber that is really, really annoying to me, okay? It's really annoying. I'm getting very annoyed by it. Why? Because I will see somebody put an opinion online and then somebody else just goes and they pick up that opinion and they're like, yeah, that applies to me. I need to listen to it. And that's why I say people online, when they are putting stuff out, a lot of this is strategic and manufactured to be able to funnel you somewhere. What happens though is sometimes you don't funnel towards them, but now this has become a funnel in your mind and you believe one way. I'll give you some examples, okay? And I'm going to get back to the PowerPoint, but I want to give you these examples just true and clear. All right. So I'm from the trading world, right? That's where I first was found with a lot of success online, is in the trading world. And during that, everyone was trading options or they were trading Forex. Now, recently, as I've been talking to several people that are interested in trading, and as a light pub, if you do want to learn how to trade the right way with a real professor, university style, in the best form of education possible, you want to go to tradeitsolutions.com because that is the greatest company to ever exist to teach you how to trade. The average completion rate of any form of asynchronous education is 8%, but we have structured a curriculum that will be able to allow you to complete it in a structured format because it's live. It's actual online school. You're going to have to show up to class live and take your homework and your quizzes and your test. And that has a 91% graduation rate compared to the 8% industry average completion. Now, back on topic though, with this industry rate, what? Guys, forgive me here. Trade it's always on my mind, I tell you. With the industry constantly going for Forex or stocks, recently a lot of the big influencers started changing to futures, which was confusing me. I'm like, why are we changing to futures? I mean, not that we think alike, but it was just a confusing thing. I didn't mind it. I didn't care, but people were doing it. And so recently I've been talking to people and I'll be like, so what do you trade options? Is it Forex? And they're like, oh yeah, I'm trying to get into futures. I'm like, oh, okay. So why are you trying to get into futures? And they're like, and it's this awkward, like silent smile of like, they're racking their brain and they don't even know why they're doing it, but everyone else is doing it. So they're thinking, if the people that are successful are making this move, maybe I should make this move. But you didn't even find success in the other thing. So why are you trying to switch? So that to me, very confusing, right? The next one is I was having a conversation. This has actually come up multiple times in conversations with different people that share the same personality traits, which I would tell you in this in a second, the personality traits that they are sharing that I can tell when I meet this individual and how I can tell someone's going to be successful and likely not going to be successful. But they will share this personality trait where I will say, okay, so what do you want to do? Oh, well, I just know I don't want to work for anybody. I want to work for myself. I don't want to have to like clock in and clock out. But, at the same time, I don't know what I want to do it in though, but I just know I don't want to work for anybody. Let me break a false narrative that has been pushed online. Two things. Number one, online, people hate on 9-to-5s. Don't know why they do it, but they do. They hate on 9-to-5s and they push the idea that you shouldn't work for people, but then they themselves are running a business in which people are working for them. And that has always confused me because I'm like, so what does your staff think when they're engaging with your content and hearing how you're actively telling people not to work for somebody, yet they clock in and clock out for you? To me, I don't like it. I don't think it makes sense. Like, whatever. The second thing, and this is what I always tell people, you will always have to work for somebody. Okay, I'm going to transition us back here because, before we get to this, I'm cheating. Ignore the fact I just cheated, okay? What I always tell people, and I want to make this explicitly clear to you, you will always have to work for somebody. I'm going to switch this back because I want to make it clear. You will always have to work for somebody, okay? As a business owner, because that's what people, they mean. Like, they want to run their own thing. Like, they don't want to work for anyone. They don't want to have to clock in. Okay, so you want a life where you're undisciplined. That's the first thing I hear when you say that. You don't want to be set to a structure that makes sense. So, because of that, you want a life that is undisciplined. Now, maybe that's not your intention, but that's what's communicated when higher level people are interacting with you and you say that. The second thing, as a business owner, if you are hoping to run a business or operate something on your own form of self-employment, you will always be working for somebody. Number one, you will be working for your staff. The people that work for you are working for you with the idea in mind that you will drive the company forward to keep a roof over their heads. If you cannot do that, you have failed. So every time that you're working, you're not working for you. You're working for you and your 10, 12, 20 staff. When at the company currently, we're pushing past 20 people. And that is stressful on my mind because this has to work. Because if not, I have to break some news to 20 people, and that's small. I know corporations letting go of thousands of individuals. Then, after you're working for your staff, guess who else you're working for? Your customers. You are working for the very people that you need to run the business. And if you don't do a good job at working for them, you will have no money to work for the people you need to pay and even yourself. So let's put our heads on a swivel that makes sense. Let's lock back in, because when you get into this mindset of I don't want to work for anybody, it's a very selfish mindset, because life in itself, if worth doing well, is about stewardship. So stop feeding into those narratives. The people, they're telling you this because they want to sell you on their form of freedom, which is going to be real estate for some people, stocks for someone else, e-commerce, whatever it is. They want to sell you on something, okay? So let us come back. Now, here's the thing that I want you to understand. Long-term thinking is going to be something that you are going to have to adopt if you want to find success. So I want you to ask yourself this question: where do you see yourself in 5 years? Okay? This was the correct slide, and I'm just not realizing that, but that's cool. Because when I say most people don't want to work for anyone, then they say, but I don't know what to do. The problem is you haven't developed a spirit of stewardship because you're so used to selfishness. And the world is feeding you on that selfishness. And every time you open up an app, it's feeding you on what you're interested in. And if your interest is for selfish pleasure, then you very well will never be able to adopt selflessness to understand what your gift is to give back to people. What is the blessing that has been instilled in you? What is it that God has asked you to do? Like, what is it? What is your purpose? You don't know. You just know you want nobody else to help you go there. And that's not a team player. So I want you to ask yourself that question. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Because if you do not know what you stand for, then ultimately you will stand for nothing. Okay. Now, with that being said, when I see people talk about it, they say like, you need to buy your time back, okay? Because I get it. Like, you don't want to work for anybody. You want to control your time. So people online will tell you, buy your time back, okay? Instead of you getting paid $25 an hour, $50 an hour, whatever it is, you should be getting paid $10,000 an hour. Every single bit of effort you put in should be able to be an ROI, a return on your investment. So you need to buy your time back. I get it. I really do get it, honestly. But here's the thing. Like I said, you have been sold the false lie that your actions should lead to you buying your time back when you are very far from what that looks like. And we're going to explain that in a second because we're going to get really technical. You're going to have to really put on this deeper thinking part of your brain that I do believe you have and understand that it's your reticular activating system, your ability to take risks. Prefrontal cortex, reticular activating system is back here. That's the ability to remember things that you've seen. Your prefrontal cortex is your ability to take risks and your ability to access new information. So that is what I'm going to present to you from a high level, okay? So you're far from buying back your time. I want you to understand that explicitly and very well. To even get remotely close to buying back your time, you'll need to commit everything. That means if you want to escape 9 to 5, you better start adopting 7 to 2, 7 a.m. to 2 a.m. You better start adopting that you're going to need to commit a lot of your finances. Financial stability and security, you'll probably have to start throwing that out the window as well. Okay? So maybe that's something you're fine with, that, a lot of your time will be gone. Your relationships may take a hit because it's going to be hard to manage both when you're actively trying to build something to the point of buying your time back. And also financially, it's going to likely strain you. If you've watched any episodes of Shark Tank, you'll know that that's something people often talk about, their financial commitment. It's a question the sharks always ask. They're like, how much money have you personally put into the business? Because that shows your level of commitment to buy your time back. So maybe for you, you're like, listen, I'm fine with putting in a lot of time. I'm fine with putting in a lot of money. I just want to do something that I enjoy. I just want to get to a place that I enjoy what I'm doing. And I'll be fine spending time on it or also buying my time back. Okay, so let us be honest really quickly. If that is your goal, I'm going to be very honest with you. Your competition does not exist. If your goal is success and your goal is the ability to be able to find success in your industry or area and buy your time back and really dominate that space, your competition does not exist. The biggest barrier to your success is going to be you. Because what happens is when you are feeding yourself the sense of all these like self-help things that are going to help you get somewhere, when you are feeding yourself that's great for motivation and inspiration, but it doesn't truly translate to dedication. It often makes people kind of scared. So what happens is you get so excited by the idea that you can start something that you spend so much time planning something. You've gone through 17 journals, okay? Every single time it's like, oh, I have this business. You write it down and you plan it out. And then you're like, oh, let me go call somebody and ask them what they think about this idea. And if they validate the idea, then you're excited and then you lose your drive. And if they hate on the idea, then you have to start proving to them that it's not right, or you doubt yourself. Stop doing that, okay? When you are just genuinely authentic and you genuinely care about making yourself better, there is a path before you that is so uniquely yours that the direct competition won't even be relevant. Like, you won't care what anybody else is doing. 75% of people don't commit to a goal for more than 30 days. 75%. You think there's competition out there? Because if you didn't commit, more people didn't. Now, maybe you have that 25%, but only 8% see it through. And how many of those 8% are going to think and do it exactly like you? So on social media, you're going to see the 50 people that have done it right and not the 50 million that have failed in that area. So focus on becoming undeniable, not on outmaneuvering your rivals. Maybe the rivals in your head. Maybe some people's rival is someone who's levels ahead of them that like it's not even worth it to think up there. Okay. So anyways, I want to talk to you about your attention. Okay. Because you say you want to buy back your time. Let's talk about where your time goes. Take a drink of water if you haven't already. So the daily average screen time for an American, that's where I'm currently based out of, is 5 hours, 16 minutes. Off the top of my head, I could tell you it's around 3 hours globally. That is the average time that an American spends on their phone every single day. 5 whole hours. So if you do work your 9 to 5, let's say like you're fully locked in there. You get back at 5, from 5 to 10, you're looking at a screen. That's your phone. It might be your TV watching Netflix. It might be YouTube. Like right now, at least this is something that is helping you. But 5 hours and 16 minutes. If we're talking about buying back our time, you have to start there. Not in, I need to be able to sell something that'll be able to make people money and make me money. No. Start with what you have direct access to right now. Control the controllables, okay? Next, the average attention span is 40 seconds. It's actually 8 to 12. On social media, it's 8 to 12 seconds. But for a single task, as in like, oh, I should probably start cooking. I should probably start looking for food to order 40 seconds before you are taken to something else. You may revisit this task, but you only spend 40 seconds directly catered to it. And that's for a single task, 40 seconds to only a couple minutes. That is the average attention span. Understand that if you are still at this point in the video, you have beat the majority of the world. So when I tell you that you have no competition, I genuinely mean that. You don't have competition, okay? Now, if you look at your focus, these things right here, this is what is distracting you. Either you use this for your benefit or you continue to let it control you, okay? Because when people say they want to buy their time back, it doesn't mean creating more money to give you more freedom. This is keeping you stuck. This isn't freedom. So adjust this first, okay? So if we want to understand this now that you understand what your time looks like, I want you to understand business. I've been in business for 6 years. I found immense success in business to the tunes of multiple millions of dollars. Money that changes lives, okay? And I have learned a lot in that time. And I had a video that I posted on Instagram where I talked about just the ability to understand, like when I made $1 million, I didn't really know what I was doing. Okay, I wasn't like this super business genius. I think a lot of people can get to $1 million accidentally. Like just having straight heart and not really knowing what they're doing. But to really scale from 1 million to 10 million, that's where my head had to go, whoa, I gotta really understand how business works. And I had to understand how business works. And it's something I'm still understanding because you learn every day through experience. Okay, so there's only so much studying you can do before you go in. But if your goal is to start a company, have the company make a lot of money, and that will buy your time back, let me be honest with you. Business is extremely hard. Business is extremely hard, and distribution makes it harder. Because distribution is a thing that everybody yearns for. I have been offered equity in companies multiple times, advisor spots in companies, because of my exposure. If I mention a company, you're likely going to trust it, which is why I don't do brand deals. Because like I only want to talk about something that I truly trust. Because I understand that you will trust it and you will look into it. You may not use it, you may not buy something, but you will look into it. That is exposure. Without exposure, you do not exist. Your company does not exist. Your business does not exist. You do not exist. That is the first difficult part of business. Now, obviously, we have structure. Structure is a whole nother part. And maybe that's another video we'll talk about, which is structure, okay? And proper business structure. And what do you need to do to make sure you have things in place? But if we look at where we're at now, you want to buy your time back. You're like, I'm going to start a business, and then you're going to go and you're going to make a social media. You're going to put together the whole business, and then you're going to go out there and you're not going to get a single sale because you do not have distribution, okay? You don't have exposure and you don't have distribution. So no matter how great your product is, it will die without a proper delivery system. And so most people tell themselves, they're like, oh, like I'm gonna go buy ads. Oh, yeah. People trust people. I need you to write that down. People trust people. They buy into people. That's why before, whatever was backed by a celebrity endorsement was what we went with. Now celebrities don't have as much power. The power is in the hands of the people and authenticity, and that's what people want to see. They will believe in a person and believe in the person's story before anything else. But exposure and distribution, like that engine, is going to be the most important thing. And if you don't have that, then you ultimately will struggle with income, because your revenue is going to be the result of the reach that you have to the people, not your hard work, not your belief, and not your effort. Not you waking up at 5 a.m. every single day. Not you studying how to make an SOP and a KPI. Not you watching every single YouTube video known to man. No, it's going to be your ability to take exposure and distribution and push it to the people. Now, obviously, you need a great product. That's why I put no matter how great your product is. Not just without distribution, you won't be able to showcase your product. No, make a great product that solves a solution. We'll talk about that in another video. But for now, I want to give you things that actively will guide and aid in your success and your understanding of what that looks like, okay? So, as I said, your distribution engine is your income. If you build the engine first, everything else can follow. But without distribution, you are working in the dark, okay? It doesn't matter what you offer people, because everyone, they watch a bunch of self-help gurus online, or even individuals that are really smart, okay? But let me tell you something that I don't have written here, but you can write down. The bigger someone gets, the more vague their information becomes, because they understand, in order to continue to hit my target audience, because they're getting big, which means a lot of people relate. And when a lot of people relate, they can't be specific. So where you're going to find a lot of value is going to be in individuals who have been there, done that. They've walked the walk, they can talk the talk, they found success, and they probably have 7,000 subscribers on YouTube. They probably only get, one of my favorite YouTube channels, a guy who's really good in business. I think he only averages maybe like 4,000 views a video. But man, it's good. And those videos make him $500,000 a month, because the more specific you get people that are looking for that specific video, the more broad and vague, the more broad it becomes, the more vague. So build your engine. Like, you are your own media empire. A personal brand is necessary. That doesn't just mean online. It could be in your city. Your ability to connect with people, speak with people, talk to people, that's what's going to directly correlate to your success. Because when you need to pick up the phone and ask for a favor, you can do that. When you need to launch a new product and ask people to purchase it, you can do that. But if you are not seen and you are not known, you are in the dark. But do not leave what you have to chase what isn't there. There was an individual I was speaking to yesterday as I was critiquing their business. Some of you know, I'll go on live, whether it's on TikTok or the Kelly OG show, and I will critique people's businesses. And there was a guy who said his business was making $20,000 a month. And he was like, yeah, we're making $20K a month, but I just want to get to a place where I'm comfortable, so I'm trying to think of what to do. And I'm like, comfortable? The average income in America is $42,000 a year. You're making $20,000 a month. How is that not comfortable? Because what you are feeding yourself. And everyone you're seeing online is telling you how they're making X amount a month, and you are just buying into that. So you see somebody make $80,000, $100,000, $200,000 a month, and you tell yourself, like, oh, I'm not doing good enough. Are you serious? You probably don't even have to check how much groceries are. $20,000 a month profit. And he was wondering, how can he find a new business to go into? And I'm like, what are you talking about? You have something that's working. Now, if your problem is you are struggling to figure out your purpose and your gift and how to create value for people, then you can still discover that, and we'll make that another video. But you can still discover that You just don't need to leave what's here. People always want to abandon what they have going on here to go here. Oh, I want to leave my 9 to 5 because I want to start building this. If you can't commit to working your 9 to 5 and building this on after hours, the business will never work for you. Understand that. It is the effort that you can showcase that you'll put in regardless that will lead to the success. Not if I abandon this, then this will work. No, if you abandon this and you think this will work, you're just not disciplined. It's point blank, period. So let me tell you how I can tell whether or not people are going to be successful. Within the conversation, there's something that people always say when I ask them, how much money are you aiming to make? Their response to this will always tell me whether or not I know they'll be successful. And I'll tell you this based upon the fact that the number, it means nothing, okay? They could tell me $100 million that they want to make. They can tell me $8,000 billion. Like, it is not the number that tells me, oh, you're thinking too high, like, you're not going to be successful. No, because let me be honest with you, and I will be honest with you when I say this. For a lot of people, where they're going to struggle will never be the financial aspect. It won't be. Because here's the truth. If you want to make $100 million, give yourself 20 years. I think if you truly commit to making $100 million in 15, 20 years, that's doable. You want to make $20 million in 10 years, that's doable. Where people mess up is they will tell themselves, I want to make $10,000 this month. What are we talking about? When people speak in months instead of in years, I always know they're going to struggle with success because they want short-term validation. They're going to be more reactive because they need it to work, and they're going to be treating themselves like they're in this survival mode. But to me, that is a scarcity mindset. You don't actually believe that you are capable of being able to receive a lot of money over time because you don't trust yourself. Because again, you're struggling with discipline. That is the core. You're struggling with discipline, and at times you're going to be struggling with selfishness. A lot of times, actually. When you don't have those in order, you think that everything could end tomorrow. So you tell yourself you want it today, which leads you to say, I want to make $10,000 a month. That's great. You could do that in 1 month. What if the other months you only make 1,000? That's not it. But when I hear somebody, I'm like, well, how much do you want to make? I'm kind of aiming to make $150,000 a year. Okay. We have a long-term thinker. We have someone that understands I don't have 30 days. I have 365 to figure it out. Monthly thinks I have 30 days to make it work. Like it has to work in 30 days. Annually says I have 365 days to figure it out. I'm still trying. So you can make any amount of money. You just have to adjust your time. It's not the dollar. It's the time. And that's what always tells me that people are going to be successful. Now, the next thing that I will give you, and this is going to be pretty much the last thing when it comes to you being able to find success, okay? It is going to be how you control your environment. This one might ruffle some feathers, make some people uncomfortable, but it's going to be how you can control your environment and ruthlessly. I remember when I was first starting out in business, I couldn't tell people no. I would take up every single meeting. I would have every single conversation. I would tell people, I would send them a message, we can't do this. And then I get in a phone call and it's like, oh, okay, I understand your situation. Maybe we can make the adjustment. No. Now, I get really irritated when I get in a meeting and it wastes my time. And I'll tell people, I'll be like, listen, what's the point of this meeting? Why are we here? We're not getting anything done. Like, I just want to cut straight to the point. We're not getting anything done. Like, this is a waste of my time. Because you have to treat yourself with that level of confidence. So the first thing, and these are the 4 steps that I would say take you there. Number 1 is cut low IQ effort. That effort has nothing to do with your personal physical effort towards working on something. It has to do with the conversations that you are having. Low stimulant conversations are going to be wasted effort and wasted thought. And that ultimately is wasted time. So When you are speaking to friends who you have understood you have outgrown, okay, you're focused on how to build an empire, they're focused on how to get somebody to text them back, cut it, dead it. It's not it. You got to be willing to be like, I don't know if I want to hang out with this friend. I know you're lonely. Go to environments that will feed the intellectual nature that you have. But if you understand this conversation isn't really serving me, well, you can't buy your time back because you're wasting it entertaining things that aren't helping you. Entertaining conversation. You're spending hours on the phone with somebody that you have a crush on or that you're dating. Y'all are spending hours just chilling in the bed or hours just watching a show or a movie. And yes, after effort, for sure, enjoy. Have a day out the week where you just literally enjoy it. Like, those are priceless moments. But don't allow that to become a common habit every day, okay? With that being said, number 2 is you need to know everyone's place in your life. I'm not saying if someone doesn't stimulate you intellectually, you cut them off. Absolutely not. No. What I'm saying is you have to know their place. If you are in a focused period, this is your time to really lock in, then yes, you need to cut them off. I'm going to be honest with you. You like, not cut them off entirely. Cut them off for that period of time. That's one of the things you're going to need to do, okay? And be intentional about doing that. Not everyone is going to deserve equal access to your attention. There may be points where you're like, okay, I'm ready to really hang out and talk about anything dumb. But you also need to understand that because people in your life will also share their opinions on what you are doing and whether or not they agree. And not everyone is fit to be able to share their opinions on what you're doing because they may not understand where you're going. Maybe they never had a long-term mindset. You're thinking really long-term. And that goes for everyone. And then we take it back to number 3, which is shut it down, okay? You need to shut down the conversations that do not serve you and do not serve the mission. That's why I say I get in meetings and I'll straight up tell people, this meeting isn't going anywhere, let's end it. I won't sit there for the whole 30 minutes and be like, but let me just politely let them speak, I don't want to be rude. You should be unapologetic about your time because your mission isn't about you. Your mission is about helping somebody else. There's somebody who God has placed in front of you to do that. And so if you are struggling with that, you got to fix it. And that's the next one, just people pleasing. Too much time is stolen from people due to approval seeking. So every yes to the wrong person is a no to yourself. You need to focus on increasing your confidence and the ability to say, I can't do this. Still be kind. This doesn't mean you're telling everybody, no. But be very intentional about where you're placing your time because we're talking about buying our time back. It is not success that is going to buy your time back if you don't instill these habits now. And to quote one of the greatest and most innovative people on this planet, the great Stephen Jobs. I don't know if his name was Stephen, but he says, deciding what not to do is as important as deciding what to do. Steve Jobs famously had a 3 big things list. So if he had 11 things to do in a day, he would give himself 3 non-negotiables he had to complete, and that was a successful day to him. So when you have 11 things you need to do in a day, you first have to decide what's not important to then decide what is most important. So deciding what not to do is as important as deciding what to do. Every conversation that you are allowing is a choice you are making. So, like I said, guys, I want you to just start now. Not when it's perfect, not when you have all the followers, not whenever you feel like the company's set up properly, not when you feel like you have all the staff, not when you've watched 1 billion videos. Some of you need to stop watching so many videos and start acting. But just start now to build the distribution engine, whether that's when you want to be more present in real life in your community, or you want to be more present online and just help people with what you've known. Everyone has experience in something they can help people with. Start to build the people that are interested in what you know you're creating for them. Also, think annually. Do not think monthly. Think in years, not months. You can get as far as you want to if you give yourself the time. But if you feel the need to rush everything, it will never be done well. So that's going to be upgrading your thinking and your language, and that will upgrade your income. And lastly, control your environment. Cut the noise. Protect your focus. That's what's going to lead to you winning. So you have to make sure these are things you're taking seriously. Okay, my prayer to you, honestly and truthfully, is that you will find so much success in every single thing that you do, and that God will guide you down the right path, that He will make all of your crooked ways straight. He will bring your destiny helpers in front of you, the people that are meant to offer you opportunities. You will not miss them. And the people who are not supposed to be in your life, that He will remove them. It may hurt, but it will be for your best benefit. Honestly and truthfully speaking, I am very excited to see what you learn from this, the success you have from this. I'm excited to see what your thoughts are. If you stayed throughout this entire thing, you are one of the rare few who I genuinely do have trust and belief that you will find success to the level that you want to. And I just realized half of my screen was cutting off that start now. Forgive me. But yeah, like I said, I'm excited for you. I'm ready for you to find that success that you're looking for. And I pray that God continues to guide you. My name is Kelly OG, and I am on a mission to truly change the way you think, the way you live, the way you believe in yourself, and the things that you achieve. And so I'm genuinely wanting financial education, financial literacy to be the thing that's at the top of everyone's minds, because if you saw my last video, we are in times where the tide can change at any point. But the question is, are you going to be ready, and are you going to be knowledgeable enough to know how to control it? I hope you have a blessed evening and a blessed rest of your day, and we shall speak soon.